All right, Shalom. Shalom. This is Sahara 1 by Nyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem, Harakah Kodash, Ma'amaf. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Shalom to you, Akim, Nagwatim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. All right. Excuse me if my background gets loud. Get some new Idumeans just moved upstairs. Um, yeah, this is a video from Jesse Ventura. Um, Jesse the Body Ventura, he used to be part of the WWF, became governor of Minnesota. He was in the Navy, I believe. Yeah, on his hat it says Navy. Um, and I think he fought in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken. And he's upset with people like Trump. He's saying that they didn't have to fight in Vietnam because they were rich. So he mad at him about that. Um, but he's speaking out because of that recent unaliving that happened in Minnesota, where that woman was unalived by what they call ICE, right? Which is not constitutionally legal for them to do. And because you usually need a warrant to search for people like that. That's what he's saying. All right. So let's listen to him. I want to play something. You can go back and watch his videos on I think it was Channel 9 Fox News in Minnesota. No, Minneapolis. I said Minnesota. Minneapolis, that's where he's from. I was talking to somebody earlier. I kept saying Minnesota. But anyway, Minneapolis. All right. That's where this happened at. So let's play it. Hear what he said.
You learn about things of that nature, and what we're getting right now is violating all that, what kids are being taught. You want to know something? I'll give you a quote. We're a third world country now. You want to know why? I'm an expert. I've been to them. I spent 17 months in Southeast Asia while the draft dodger was playing golf, right? You know how I know we're a third world country? Because in third world countries, they have the military doing their police work in the cities when you walk around. I was in the Philippines the day Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and went under dictatorship. We went from nobody to a guy with a machine gun on every corner. That's what happens in a dictatorship. In comes the military. That's what's happening here. And people better wake up to it. You want to read something? Then read your history of Germany and start comparing the tactics of what happened in 1930s Germany to what's happening here. Read history. You learn from history.
Yeah, that was deep. So he said this place Babylon has officially become a third world country. All right. And basically a third world country heavily oppresses its own people. So now let me get some. I want to show something. Something came to my mind. Second Ezra. I'm gonna get it on my phone. I like going on here. It's quicker. All right. So he said third world country. He said they're gonna what? Here you go. I'm gonna show you something. So we in that time where we're gonna need the Lord to step in and deliver us. All right. Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west. We in the west, where we're praising the name of the Lord, and they're gonna fear him because of the judgment he's bringing, and also him protecting his elect. All right, and us being over here in the west, scattered around the four corners of the earth, giving him praise, that brings honor to him when he brings his judgment. and his glory from the rising of the sun. All right. So from the east and the west. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against them. See, they're moving, but it's like a flood, like a tsunami. Starts off small, and then it increases a little more and more. Like snow, what they call a snowball effect as well. But notice he said the enemy. Um, you can read Deuteronomy 28 for that, and also Obadiah to see who the enemy is. All right, and it says when they come in rushing like a flood, that's that martial law. That's them pushing that NWO. All right, so now notice he said the enemy. Now um all heathen nations are enemies to the Lord, but there's some nations that are literally intentionally going against Yahweh, and they call themselves pagans. What they call the Illuminati, et cetera, et cetera. Today called um, the dragon in the scriptures, Babylon, and the beast, which is NATO, which is all that beast system all together. All right, the revised Roman Empire. Um, so now I want to show you this too. Hold up, we already know the scripture, but I want to get these real quick. There you go. This is Second Ezra 15 and Second Ezra 15 and 16. No, let's go to 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, man. See, we're in that time. The sword, the final prophecy of destruction, and what is it? And their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. They're gonna have weapons. Eventually, they're gonna stand up to fight against the oppressing government. All right, that's why they have the Constitution. That's why they have um, in the Constitution where they can start a militia, as they say. What amendment is that? Let me see. Yes. Yeah, yeah. There you go. The Second Amendment. There you go. Same one with the firearms. All right, to defend you, to be able to defend yourself. Um, so this is an attack allegedly against the Constitution. All right. So no. What was I reading? Here you go. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. This is what he's talking about. It's in Minnesota, not yeah. I'm gonna pull this up. Sorry about that. He's talking about this right here. All right. You notice they're getting louder as I'm talking. You can hear the banging, but it's all good. Um, these things we got to deal with in Babylon, man. All right. But yeah, see, let's get this. Here you go. It says, there should be sedition among men. And what's sedition? Sedition is right here. I'm gonna show you. Sedition definition. Just get to the point. Conduct or speech inciting people. Yo, they wildin', man. All right, I'm about to go up there in a minute. Anyway, conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or a monarch. So not just going against a state, but they're going to rebel against the monarch. Who is that? Y'all know who. All right. The one that's moving like a dictator right now. All right. So, and they're going hands on now. And then you got people like Jesse Ventura speaking up about it. All right. It says, a man shall desire, no, for there shall be sedition among men. That's all they are, is just men that start governments, and they just rising up against each other for carnal reasons. But it's all the will of the Most High for prophecy and invading one another. See, invading each other's countries, like you just did with Venezuela. And they shall not regard their kings nor princes, man. They actually took them into captivity and brought them to America. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So people in the streets, they're going to stand in their own power. What they say, the power to the people. And even Trump, he's standing in his own power. He didn't go to Congress to make the moves he's making. So it's like everybody rising up against each other. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. All right. So that goes with what they call migrants coming in. You got the ICE situation. You got people being stopped at borders. If major events happen, like a cataclysm happens or an economic crash, or they can easily shut down the cities. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. So because of um their pride, they're gonna start going against each other. All right, rising up against each other. All right, so they're disagreements basically. Um, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. See that? And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy his house with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Now, let me get this. Let's go on our course real quick. Um, Make a detour. All right, second episode 1670. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. All right, and that actually came to pass too with Stephen. All right, during the time of Paul, that was the first real persecution against us in the Roman Empire. Um, all up until 70 A.D., but it's going to happen again in these times. All right, that's a prophecy, and now, um, and they shall be like madmen, sparing none, none, not just what they call migrants, but none is going to be anybody that disagrees with the government. Eventually, they can just put anybody out. But still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So even to this day, they still going to be spoiling and trying to attack the Lord's people. So they shall waste their goods, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. All right, and that really happened in 70 A.D. But that time's coming, But we're looking and hoping for Psalms 91 for the Lord to protect His people. And He said, be as migrants upon the earth. And be ready to move around if you have to when all hell breaks loose. So that's what people like Jesse Ventura is saying. He's saying get ready because this is a third world country now. And when a country is ran by an alleged dictator and they're being pulled to the bottom from their position of being exalted, they're gonna move in haste. They're gonna devour. They're gonna move in haste. They're gonna plot on the earth, looking down towards the earth, seeking their next move or who they may devour. coming down with great wrath because they know they got a short time. But then you got this too. Let's go to Revelations 2 real quick, just briefly. Revelation 17 and 2, Salakia. Um, no, let's go to 17 and 1. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, that's ruling over the nations. All right, that's we know that to be today what's called the U.S. All right, what we call Babylon, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication with that dollar. All right, and their business, their, what they call democracy as well. And inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. All right, so that dollar, okay, going into we say getting in bed with these other nations. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. All right, so this was in the 1920s. Um, what was that 16? What was the dollar established? I think it was. Hold up. Is it 1613 or 1913? The dollar, U.S. No, I'm talking about the date. No, when was that? 1 second. Yeah, there you go. I was looking for this. It says in 1913, the Federal Reserve Act established the Federal Reserve System, authorizing the creation of the Federal Reserve notes. All right. And then you had 1944, where the dollar became the world currency, all right, for trade and for reserves, world reserve currency. Um, so, and now, with all those nations that's holding dollars in reserves, later realize they're holding America's debt. All right, they're holding a cancer, which is going to corrupt all their economies if they don't move away from it. And it's a form of control. So they have to, with sanctions. So they have to get away from the dollar now. All right. Um. So now let's go back. Where was I? At? Revelation 17 and 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, into the world, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. So meaning exalted, being lifted up, you know, praised by these nations over in Europe as the hammer of the earth, their scepter that they use to rule the world in secret. And so the woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. Scarlet represents red, the essence of Edom, crimson, colored beast, man. So that beast represents tyranny, being tyrannical, immoral, oppressive, blaspheming against God, against Yahweh, a system that's created in unity against the Lord and against His people, full of names of blasphemy. See that? Full of rulers that were blasphemous people, and nothing but wickedness here. Having 7 heads and 10 horns, so seven ruling class nations that helped to establish it. Also, 10 horns going back into the common markets, which would be today called the European Union. So this is basically the revised Roman Empire over again, especially when America gets established, has gotten was established. So full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, so the 7 heads will be the NATO, and the 10 horns represent the European Union. Okay, uh, and the woman was arrayed. There you go. So she was covered and dressed and draped up and dripped out right? Arrayed in it. Think about that. Just, you know, put in a position of royalty and given all kind of protection and covers and finances and military investments and, you know, so they can be the hammer that they are or were. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. All right. So saying, hey, you gonna ride with Edom. They're gonna push the agenda of the wicked. All right. That's why this place was established, a place of our captivity and a place for them to rule from the west throughout the whole world, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, giving all kind of trade and resources. But those resources and finances and wealth through taxes gets funneled right over to Europe. Having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. All right, so that was this place. It was arrayed and cut. You know, let's look at the word arrayed. Parabolo. It says to be clothed, clothed with, of garments, to clothe one, to put a thing on one, to clothe one with a thing, to put on or clothe oneself. All right. So to invest with a palisade or with clothing. So they invested in America. All right, the investors, the elites. So now that's what Jesse Ventura was saying. Like this place used to be had the Constitution. Um, it was exalted in 1920. They call it the Roaring Twenties. The economy was booming. They started coming out with the cars and all this shit. Excuse my language, but uh, and so all until the 1960s, and that's when Abba Bivens started showing up. The spirit of the Lord showed up upon Abba Bivens. All right, so he said, "What? It's nothing new." Um, so this whore was draped up, dripped out, and now look at it. It become a third world country. Isaiah 47:1. Why? Because it's a prophecy. Come down and sit in the dust. So sit in obscurity or confusion, in a destroyed state, a low condition, third world country. Come down and sit in the dust. Get off that nag, the scarlet colored beast. Time to get down from your exalted position and have to beg like a impoverished servant, fighting for their life. That's what the Lord is reducing this place to before he judges it, completely. So this place is saying Babylon first, or great again, make it great again, right? Babylon the Great. But the Lord is saying, nah, get you into the dust. You're gonna become a third world country. O virgin daughter of Babylon, meaning pure reflection of ancient Babylon, with its idolatry and business and us being in poverty, all right, and ruling over the nations in dominance, pushing paganism. Um, it said, as is the mother, so is the daughter. It says, sit on the ground, right? There's no throne for you. There is no throne. So sit on the ground. Don't look for no chair. Don't look for nothing to lean on. Sit on the ground. Destitute, third world country. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks. That means what? Make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the river. So basically, take away everything that they dressed her with. All right, in Revelations that we just read, 17, I think it was. Everything that she was dressed with, the Lord is removing all of it. Just basically bringing down the economy and the resources and trade and power that it has over the sea, all right, and through the sea with its trade. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Look at that. That shame. Like a woman getting, or a harlot getting stripped down by her pimp, or the Lord using them to strip him down in front of the whole world and thrown into the mud and feces all over her. It says, yea, thy shame shall be seen. See that? I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. So it's the Lord fighting against this place. And that's why we're seeing these prophecies happen. There's nothing they can do about it. And the more they try to fight, the tighter the Lord gonna grip on them. All right. That's what the Lord was showing us with Moses when he had the dragons fight against their dragon. His staff turned into a dragon representing Yahweh Shai that's gonna be fighting against this system in these last days. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent, all right, in obscurity. All right. What's obscurity? Basically saying, yo, you power. They're gonna be powerless. All right. Obscurity, state of being unknown, no longer popular. The popular vote is gonna be like China and Russia, inconspicuous or unimportant. Those are words that King Nero would hate. You know, they call DJ Trump. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, man. All right, no longer important. All right, the light of the Chaldees anymore. It's gonna be put out. O daughter of the Chaldees, there you go. O daughter of the Chaldees, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. They're gonna be called a third world country. I was wroth with my people, so that's why we came over here to captivity, because the Lord was angry with us. Not that this place had all that power in taking us into slavery. And Esau, it says, I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke, man. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. All right, what was prophesied against this place. All right, so it says, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly. That's deep, man. That's Habakkuk. It said, how long shall he continue with this shit? And that which is not his. They dwelling carelessly, man, just going over attacking places. And they can't defend against what Russia just put out there today. The Rushnik, whatever, Vishnik, hypersonic missile that's faster than the speed of light, 2 times faster than the speed of light. And they showed that it's unstoppable, but they dwelling carelessly. All right, that goes Ezekiel 38, the unwalled villages. That says in thine heart amongst their politicians, right? Their heart, their whole thought of this place, administration. I am and none else beside me. They say what? America, Babylon first, right? I shall not sit as a widow, meaning they're saying they're going to be backed by NATO and their allies, whatever they do. They talking about leaving NATO, but still holding the power of the EU and backing from them. Nah, they're gonna cut them off. It says, neither shall I know the loss of children, but these two things shall come upon thee in a moment, in a day, the loss of children, widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries, for the abundance of thy enchantments. All right. So now, um, so they're gonna be this is being stripped of its dainties and royalty, right? Being what everything it was dressed and given. All right. And he said it's nothing new, right?
and this is nothing new. This is all repeated. This is a game plan. It looks like to me,
Mm.
of what's going on here. How dare Minnesota will.
He says nothing new, right? It is a plan. It's a plan of the Most High. Ecclesiastes and Esau think they planning, but the Lord is using them. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that have been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. So people that was in the Roman Empire, they're back here again doing the same thing they was doing then, trying to dominate the world. And the elect of the Lord are back here again prophesying. And there is no new thing under the sun. All right. The newness is going to come from the heavens. And is there anything where it may be said, see, this is new? They talking about new world order. The Lord like, nah, man. Shit been done over and over again. And he already showed what he can do with that. He bound them up for 1,000 years. He like, look, there's nothing. See, this is new. It has been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So reincarnation, right? And you forget who you were in the past life. So they're back here doing the same, in the same prideful spirit. All right. They said, what was that? Let's go to. Let me go here real quick. See if I want this real fast. Yeah, man, I'm gonna end it there, man, because I want to go into something else. I'll probably do it on another topic. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say let's see, make sure. Yep. With that, I'm gonna say shalom. And yeah, you heard it from him. You heard it from the man himself. Um, what's his name? Jesse Ventura. He said it right. I'm gonna play it one more time.
You want to know why? I'm an expert. You want to know something? I'll give you a quote. We're a third world country now. You want to know why? I'm an expert.
So with that, man, this man, and I want to say shalom. See you on the next one. Y'all brothers. Shalom.